Hello everyone, my name is Aman Rashid, you're watching Mr. Phone and this is my full review of the Samsung Galaxy A52. A quick note before we start, so if you're looking to purchase a smartphone around the 25,000 to 30,000 rupees mark and if you really care about 5G, then this phone is not for you, you can skip this video. But for all the others who are still interested, watch this video until the very end to know all the good and bad about the Galaxy A52. Of course, if you're new to the channel, then please hit the red subscribe button and the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our future videos. With everything out of the way, let's get started. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions from people that why did Samsung even go for a Snapdragon 720G chipset inside the smartphone instead of a Snapdragon 750G or even the Snapdragon 765G that also powers the OnePlus Nord. Apart from this, what about this plastic back panel of the Galaxy A52? So here are my thoughts. These are the Antutu scores of the Galaxy A52 and the OnePlus Nord, which clearly shows that the Nord is about 15% faster than the Galaxy A52. But these are just numbers. What about the real world performance? See, of course, for the price, the OnePlus Nord is a very good smartphone without a doubt, and it offers the Snapdragon 765G chipset, which is also superior to the Snapdragon 720G. But is the SoC the only thing that you should care about when you're purchasing a new smartphone? Because while the Nord offers a slightly better processor, the Snapdragon 720G inside the Galaxy A52 is a competent processor in its own right. By the way, both the phones feature OIS in their main camera, which is a good thing, but their resolution differs. That is, you get a 48 megapixel main camera on the OnePlus Nord versus the 64 megapixel main camera found on the Galaxy A52. Apart from this, the A52 has IP67, the Nord doesn't. The A52 has stereo speakers versus the single speaker on the OnePlus Nord. And yeah, two more things that I know a lot of people still care about: a headphone jack and a micro SD card slot, both of which are found on the Galaxy A52 and are missing on the OnePlus Nord. Now, the OnePlus Nord is without a shadow of a doubt one of the best phones that money can buy still. But does the Snapdragon 765G alone make the Nord a better pick over the Galaxy A52? I don't think so. Okay, one more thing that could be considered better by many is the fact that the OnePlus Nord comes with a glass rear panel versus the plastic back found on the Galaxy A52. And of course, I understand that a glass rear panel adds to the premium touch, but the build quality of the Galaxy A52 is no slouch either. This plastic rear actually gives me S20 FE vibes, and I feel if plastic is done right, then what's the harm? On top of that, it is durable and features a soft matte finish. It does a good job of hiding fingerprints and smudges, and as I pointed out in my first impressions video as well, I absolutely love the new shades and this awesome blue and even the awesome purple color that I have on the Galaxy A72. I think these colors look so nice. Okay, now enough talk about the build. Let's now focus on the other things about the smartphone, like this gorgeous display up front. Without a doubt, Samsung is the master in making some really beautiful displays, and this one right here is no different. The 6.5-inch Super AMOLED panel exhibits vibrant colors, deep blacks, wide viewing angles, and all the goodness that you can think of. Of course, the 90Hz refresh rate ensures that scrolling through menus or in general operation, things are smooth. I started watching this show called Vincenzo on Netflix, and to be honest, it has been a pleasant experience. By the way, you're also getting stereo speakers on the smartphone, which is also a first for the Galaxy A lineup, and there's support for Dolby Atmos as well, and I think they sound amazing. Here's a sample. In terms of software, you're getting the full OneUI 3.1 experience atop Android 11, and if you guys have been watching my videos, you know how much I enjoy using OneUI. See, no second thoughts. OneUI is good, comes loaded with features. It is pretty neat and responsive, and we're also getting Google now by default when we swipe towards the right. The only things that I wish could be fixed is the ad situation and spam notifications. Not to mention, you also get a lot of bloat apps pre-installed such as Moj, Daily Hunt, ShareChat, etc. Now, a quick fix would be to disable notifications whenever you see an ad or a general notification. And as for the bloat apps, well, most of them can be uninstalled, so at least that's a sign of relief. And trust me, as a whole, OneUI is not an Android skin that just looks visually appealing, but it is very functional as well. Okay, now let's come back to the Snapdragon 720G chipset and talk about performance, but first, the variants. You can get the Galaxy A52 in 2 RAM and storage options. The base version has 6GB of LPDDR4X RAM coupled with 128GB of UFS 2.1 storage. This is priced at about 26,500 rupees. The top end variant has 8GB of RAM coupled with 128GB of inbuilt storage, which is priced at about 28,000 rupees. Two things I would want to flag here is that one, the Snapdragon 720G chipset only supports up to 8GB of RAM in comparison to up to 12GB of RAM support on the Snapdragon 765G. Second is that a 256GB storage option wouldn't have hurt Samsung. With that being said, you can expand the storage via the hybrid slot, so at least that's sorted. And as for the performance, after using the phone for a few days, I think that the Snapdragon 720G chipset has been optimized really well for the smartphone. Apps open fast, and despite having 6GB of RAM on my review unit, RAM management has been fairly decent for the most part. The chipset is also able to handle games such as Call of Duty Mobile and Asphalt 9 Legends without a doubt. Now, of course, don't expect this one to run Genshin Impact flawlessly, but otherwise speaking, I played a lot of Call of Duty on the Galaxy A52 and my longest session in one go was about 1.5 hours. Trust me, during that time, the phone did not heat at all, and the battery life also for that matter only dropped by about 15%. Speaking of battery life, the 4500 mAh cell on this phone should easily be able to last you about a day and a half with medium to heavy usage. As for charging times, the 15-watt charger in the box was able to get the phone from 0 to 100 in about 1 hour 45 minutes, and that is very long. Could have done better for sure. However, the phone also supports up to 25-watt charging, and using the 25-watt brick that I got with the Galaxy A72, then I was able to charge the Galaxy A52 from 0 to 100 in a relatively quicker time of about 75 minutes. Still not the fastest, but never mind. Okay, before moving to the camera, let's focus on the ports, buttons, connectivity and haptics, of course, since I know a lot of you watching do care about these smaller details. So the buttons on the smartphone offer good tactile feedback, they are very clicky and no complaints overall. The in-display fingerprint sensor, which is an optical one, is very accurate, but as I said in my first impressions video as well, it is not the fastest around. Besides this, most of the Wi-Fi bands are supported, NFC is there, Bluetooth 5.0 and of course support for 4G carrier aggregation. Phone calls and internet connectivity were rock solid on the Jio 4G network and I faced no major problems. Finally, the haptics on this phone are not that great. Actually, I remember when I first turned on this phone, I realized that the system haptics were disabled by default, and only after enabling them, I realized, okay, I get it, why the company did not enable them in the first place. So long story short, that if you're purchasing the smartphone, then I suggest keeping the haptics disabled. Okay, now that most of the things have been covered about the Galaxy A52, let's now focus on the camera. But first, the specs. So you get a quad camera setup at the back. The main camera is a 64 megapixel sensor which comes with optical image stabilization. This is coupled with a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera and a couple of 5 megapixel depth and macro cameras. At the front, there's a 32 megapixel camera for selfies. The main camera on the Galaxy A52 clicks some amazing photos that are color rich and details are also on point. Even the ultra-wide-angle camera for that matter captures vibrant images, and I love the dynamic range on both the lenses. Although I did notice barrel distortion in a few photos taken from the ultra-wide camera and a slight color disparity between the primary and ultra-wide lenses. Now, even in low light scenarios, the phone does not try to over brighten images and instead takes a more balanced approach, resulting in a natural looking output. Of course, not everything has to be perfect, and so the macro camera on this phone, despite being a 5 megapixel snapper, is plain average. I recently tested the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max and I think that phone has an amazing macro camera. Sadly, the same can't be said for the Galaxy A52. Anyway, coming back to the good bits, and selfies on this phone turned out nice and detailed. Skin textures are handled well and the end result looks quite natural, even while taking selfies against a light source, and the camera was able to handle those kinds of scenes as well. Okay, in terms of video recording, the Galaxy A52 can shoot up to 4K 30 FPS from both the front and rear camera. This sample shot on the Galaxy A52 in 4K 30 FPS looks vibrant without a doubt. Dynamic range is great, colors look punchy, and thanks to optical image stabilization, everything looks good. For that matter, there's also an option to shoot 60 FPS videos, that is, you can shoot them in 1080p. Once again, OIS plays a big part here as well, and stabilization is definitely pretty decent. Now you do get a super steady mode that shoots using the ultra wide angle camera, and if you want the most stable videos, I would say go for this mode. However, in terms of detail and overall quality, the end result is just satisfactory, nothing special. Finally, here's showing you a selfie video sample, so please take a look at it and let me know what you guys think. Hello everyone, welcome to a bright and sunny day here in New Delhi. I'm on my terrace testing the front-facing video camera performance of the Galaxy A52. It was quite noisy also up until now, just a minute ago, and I thought it's a good way to test the mic quality of the phone as well. So I thought maybe you guys can get a good idea about the audio quality, but yeah, it's quite it's quite silent right now. But nonetheless, tell me how does my voice sound right now? What do you think about the audio quality, and especially what do you think about the video quality? Because I think the phone does a very good job. As you can see behind me, you can see the buildings, so details and exposure, the camera is doing a very good job. And even when it comes to dealing with exposure, highlights on my forehead, so right now the sun is falling right on my forehead, and I think the camera is doing a very good job. But overall, you guys tell me, what do you think about the overall video quality from the front camera of the Galaxy A52? Cheers! Long story short, the Galaxy A52 is a dependable mid-range smartphone, and I strongly suggest not to overlook this phone just because of the Snapdragon 720G chipset, because the chipset is definitely capable of handling all the daily needs of an average consumer with ease. Other than that, if 5G is a deciding factor for you, then please don't buy the smartphone. However, if you can look past 5G that we don't even know when is it even rolling out in India, then what you have for yourself is a superb smartphone with a gorgeous display, a good camera system, IP67 protection, and of course OneUI 3.1 based on Android 11. Not to mention, you also get 3 years of main Android software support plus 4 years of security patch updates. And that was my review of the Samsung Galaxy A52. Hit the like button if you agree with me, and just in case if you don't, then please reach out to me in the comments section. I'm always open for questions. You can also reach out to me on my social media. All the links will be available in the description. As always, thanks for watching, and for all the latest in tech, stay tuned to Mr. Phone. See you guys in the next one.